Welcome to the ultimate guide to making your pants fit so well on your body it looks like it was literally made for you. How's that for a title? Also, all without a sewing machine. I'm gonna show you a couple different ways / styles. I'll show you how to hem the bottoms straight across, but also, sometimes you want your pants to still be long and baggy and have that scrunched up look, but you just don't want it to like touch the cement when you're walking. So I'm also gonna give you some tips and tricks to do that, to give you that different style. I say this is a guide for anybody, but really specifically, it's for the short girls out there. Let's get started.
Alright, let's start with the first pair of pants with the OG hem. So I'm gonna be hemming these cargo pants, and this method will work for any pants or jeans that you want to keep the original hem of because it's either too intricate or difficult to recreate by hand, or you just can't do as good of a job as a factory full of robots. The first step is to try on your pants and fold them up to the length that you want, and use either safety pins or sewing pins to hold it in place while you try on shoes, walk around, test the length, all that kind of stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna lay my pants on the table and measure how much I folded and divide that by 2. So in this case, I folded 8 centimeters, so the measurement I'm gonna use is 4 centimeters. So I'm taking out all the pins and flipping the edge inside out so that the right sides are touching, and I'm gonna measure 4 centimeters from the fold to the bottom of the original hem so that when we finish, this is what the finished hem will look like. So I'm gonna make sure it measures 4 centimeters around the entire pant leg from the fold to the bottom of the original hem, and then to start sewing, I'm grabbing some thread that matches the color of the pants, but since we won't actually be seeing the thread, it doesn't really matter what color you use. Okay, since this hem is going to be hidden, I'm just using the fastest stitch that I know, which is the running stitch. So I'm just weaving the needle over and under and over and under and then pulling through, doing the exact same thing around the entire pant leg. This is a great time to put on a show, a movie, or you can stream my music. My artist name is Gen Z. Had to throw that little self-promo in there. And I'm sewing as close as I can to the bottom of the original hem so that it looks as seamless and realistic as possible. And once you get to the side seam, it might get a little bit harder to weave the needle, so I just did single stitches instead. Once I finished hemming all the way around, I pushed my needle through a tiny section or string of fabric, and then I pulled my needle through the loop I created to tie a knot. And I just did that 1 or 2 more times by going through a thread from the knot that I just created, and then I just cut off the excess thread. And that's it! It's already looking pretty good, but I wanted to go one step further and iron the seam flat by using a hair straightener instead of an iron, because that's all I had. It's called being resourceful. And there we go! This is the final result. I apologize for the horrendous lighting, but as you know, I'm currently traveling, which is why I don't have constant access to a sewing machine, which is why I want to show you guys some non-sewing machine options for hemming your pants. But look at this before and after. I think it looks so much better than before, and we managed to save the original hem.
Alright, this is one of my favorite pairs of pants ever. I wore it in Paris like every single day because it fits so well with the Parisian aesthetic. But my only tiff with this pair of pants / literally every pair of pants in my closet is that it fits too long on me. So what I have been doing in the past instead of hemming is I've just been using safety pins, which has worked out honestly pretty well. So if you don't want to like sew at all, that's what I would recommend, because sometimes I also don't want to commit. I have commitment issues, but this is also a topic for therapy. Sometimes I want it to fit longer, sometimes I want it to fit shorter, so safety pins is the way to go. But I think I'm ready to commit a little more because my therapist says it's time. So what I think I'm gonna do is do a hem, but I do want the front to kind of sit a little bit longer because sometimes I wear platform shoes with these pants. So I'm going to hem it like not in a straight line. So the back will be shorter than the front essentially. So it'll be kind of like this. Just so that like the front looks longer, so it makes my leg look longer. It's all an illusion, guys. I'm literally the most mini person ever.
All right, let's do this. I'm trying my pants on right side out and pinning inwards at the length that I want at the back when I try on my shoes. And I'm gonna add length to the front in a bit, so I'll show you how I do that.
Baby, you're beautiful. Hello. Hello.
Also, I do realize my Air Forces are like the most dusty, crusty things you'll ever see. So should I dunk them in coffee again? Question mark, question mark. Anyway, once I had the desired length, I laid out the pants, flipped the fold inside out, and measured how much I needed to hem so that I could apply the same length evenly across the entire back of the leg. And then for the front, I actually mysteriously lost the footage, so we're just gonna use my badly photoshopped image. Instead of using the same measurement from the back, I'm actually going to be using a shorter measurement so that the length of the pants is longer in the front. This way, it won't drag in the back, but it will still have that illusion of a longer pant leg in the front. Now, I'm going to flip back to the right side out and mark the hemline. I chose 2 centimeters, but you can really choose like whatever you want depending on the look that you're going for. Alright, now it's time to start sewing, and I'm doing the exact same thing as before and weaving back and forth using a running stitch. I actually would recommend not doing what I'm doing, but using a back stitch instead because it looks a lot cleaner and closer to a sewing machine hem. This seam is gonna be pretty visible, so that's why I recommend using a back stitch, but a back stitch does take more time and thread, and I was kind of in a time crunch, but if I had more time, I would definitely use a back stitch. Anyway, once I was all the way around, I again pushed my needle through a tiny thread of fabric, pulled through slightly, and then pulled my needle through the loop to tie the knot, and secured it a couple more times. And ta-da! Here's my party in the front, business in the back pants.
Okay, so I have this pair of, I call them my big girl pants. I really don't know how to describe styles of pants because I'm like not actually knowledgeable in fashion, but it's like a formal pant with belt loops. I don't know, looks like you would wear it to like an office job or a networking event, venture capitalism, you know, LinkedIn, corporate girl. So the issue with this is it's too long on me. We already know this is the struggle because I'm a short girl, but I also don't have like the proportions of a tall person because I feel like some short girls have those proportions, but I just also have like short legs. So it's like double the struggle for me. You can actually kind of see the fold line of where I've been fake hemming. I basically just use safety pins and I pin it. And yeah, you can kind of see the pin sometimes, but nobody's really looking down there. So for this, pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna hem straight across. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just try these on and then use safety pins to kind of see what length I like on myself. Okay. Yeah! We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled. And once I like the length, I'm gonna start sewing.
For these black pants, I did the exact same thing as the silky pants from before, except I'm just keeping the same length around the entire leg, front and back. And since I'm working with black fabric, the seam is not going to be as visible, so I could just get away with using a running stitch, which is what I did. But if you want it to look a little more put together, I would recommend using a back stitch for any visible seams. And here is the final result.
Okay, for this pair of jeans, I actually have altered this before. So as you can see, it fits like super straight on me at the bottom, like it hits me right at the ankle kind of. It doesn't slouch at all, which at the time is what I wanted. So this is what it looks like, right? I hemmed it so that you could still see the original hemming. And so there's like an extra fold here, but because it like sits, you don't really notice it on my body, but I don't really like it because I want it to sit more slouchy at the bottom, but I don't want it to hit the ground when I'm walking. So I'm actually gonna rip out this original stitch and instead I'm just going to hem the back so that at the front it still looks slouchy and it sits on top of my shoe so it's not gonna hit the ground. But at the back, it's not gonna hit the ground. Big brain moment.
As you can see, this is the old hem that I had. I'm just gonna rip it out with a seam ripper, but in any scenario, if you don't have a seam ripper, you can honestly just use scissors. Since I already know the length that I want, I'm just going to refold at the same length as before, but if you don't know, obviously you can just try it on and use safety pins to mark that out. This time though, I'm only going to be sewing the back, so that's where I'm pinning. And then I'm just going to sew a 2 to 3 inch long running stitch. It honestly can be shorter, it can just be 1 inch. You basically just need it to hold at the back. It doesn't need to be very strong at all. And I'm sewing this with the right sides facing together so that we won't see the seam when we flip it right side out. Again, we won't see the seam, so it doesn't really matter what color thread you use. This is the end result. This way my pants won't drag on the ground, but it still has that relaxed, slouchy look that I'm really into right now. So super easy, super simple.
Hopefully this inspires you to alter your own clothes because you'll realize how freaking easy it is. And maybe there's a couple shirts or pants in your wardrobe that don't really fit you right, that you're thinking of throwing away. This way you can just alter them and make it fit better to your body, and maybe you'll end up liking it a lot more. Best of luck to you. You can do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!